We're seeing altcoins pop off left, right, and center, but Cardano is stubbornly sticking around the $2 mark. In this video, we'll go through the reasons why and what's in store for Cardano over the next few months, including updates on token bridges to Ethereum and Solana, smart contracts, and Hydra, which will set new records for transaction throughput on the network. Back at $1, Cardano was called a stablecoin, and then it launched smart contracts, and we know what happened after that. Cryptos trade around news and events, and there's plenty of those coming up for Cardano, so we can take a look at the coming events that can have effect on ADA demand, which in the end will be the main driver of price growth for all you short-term traders. Very quickly, I have 20% off the Crypto Trader course in November, over 100 in-depth videos from the basics all the way through to on-chain analytics and investing techniques. Join the course and private Discord group with 20% off in November. Just enter code HODL over on moneyzg.academy or link in description. Let's first come to the timeline for Cardano development though, and the next big milestones. There's really one set of major launches that, in my opinion, will have the biggest impact on the short-term price of ADA, and that's the launch of DEXs and other tokens on the blockchain. Without a DEX on Cardano, nothing else can really happen. Without the ability to trade ADA for other tokens, the key driver of liquidity and the ability for users to trade and invest in other ecosystem projects just isn't there. So it's impossible to underestimate what a big deal DEXs launching on Cardano really is. There's so many DEXs launching on Cardano, which we've discussed in other videos. But as an example, we have SundaySwap, which I think will probably be one of the most popular simply because of the branding. It seems like these guys are getting really close to a launch, with their latest update yesterday outlining progress. Firstly, they are putting the finishing touches on their ISO dashboard, which is a way for users to invest ADA tokens and get some SundaySwap tokens back. This will launch at the same time as the DEX, so finishing touches sounds quite positive. Secondly, they're prepping their public testnet, which usually is the final stage of testing before actually launching the protocol. And thirdly, they're integrating with Yoroi, which is one of the most popular Cardano wallets for now that people will be able to use with the DEX. Sunday also posted this video on Twitter showing us their first end-to-end transaction through Yoroi wallet, and that's very positive. According to Sunday also, the DEX is 70% more efficient than Uniswap v3, which is a bold claim. In fact, they posted an in-depth article about some of the background development they've put in place and all the testing they've done to implement their DEX on Cardano specifically, which is a very different chain than Ethereum that Uniswap sits on. That article could fill out an entire video in itself, so I'll link it below if you want to read up more. Exactly when will the DEX launch? Sunday's article doesn't give a specific date, but does mention a few weeks. But if it's 6, 8, or 10 weeks, what is really the difference? The big deal for me though is that with DEXs comes demand for the base layer currency to tie up in liquidity pools, which will mean higher demand for ADA. Next up, DCSpark and their sidechain Milkomeda. This is a sidechain for Cardano that will link up to Ethereum, so obviously really important. The benefits really for doing this are twofold. In that users can bridge tokens and value over from Ethereum, and that means Cardano can suck out some of the immense value locked up in that chain, so that's good. And this is a strategy done by many other chains like Polygon, Avalanche, Binance Smart Chain, and more recently Solana as well. End users will really like the ability to get some of the value they hold on ETH over to Cardano to possibly invest in some more early stage projects on the platform. But more importantly for Cardano is the ability for Ethereum developers to easily port over their dApps into Cardano's ecosystem as well. The fact is, most developers make dApps for Ethereum and therefore have those dApps built in Solidity. It would just take too long and have way too high a cost to start afresh developing their same dApps in Plutus for Cardano. So an easy way for dApps to basically come over and be used on Cardano, or for those dApps to actually use the Cardano blockchain to clear some of their transactions, is really a net positive for everyone. DCSpark, who are developing Milkomeda, have some good progress in this regard as well, telling us that moving ADA to their sidechain testnet works, so that's good, and also running a copy of Uniswap on their testnet also works, and they'll be testing a Solana testnet next, but Ethereum is really the big one here. Why would developers want to deploy their Ethereum dApps built-in solidity on Cardano. Well, very simply, it's just cheaper right now to use Cardano than Ethereum. Milkomeda seem to be doing great work and things are coming along. Again, this isn't a next week ADA is going to moon type of scenario. It's just building out the future of what is needed to integrate Cardano into the DeFi world, and it looks to be going pretty well so far. We also get news though on Hydra, which is going to be one of Cardano's solutions to scaling the network over time to process potentially thousands of transactions per second. Like Charles Hoskinson has said repeatedly, it's not so much about how many transactions the base layer can process, but how many the ecosystem as a whole can manage given many different side chains and connected solutions like Hydra. And this is the same for every blockchain out there. According to Charles's recent AMA, we are going to keep adding resources to Hydra, and we've been trying to identify some teams so we can parallelize the work stream because it's such a high commercial priority, and it's going to be very important that we'll be able to offload a large number of transaction traffic that's going to come from all of the apps that are coming. Each blockchain has different technology, and Hydra's is to channel transactions off to something called Hydra nodes, who in theory could process up to 1,000 transactions per second. Hydra is needed to scale Cardano past just a cool blockchain to launch some NFTs and trade some tokens into something that a large ecosystem of companies and even governments, especially around Africa, can rely on to support their needs. Next up, we get an update from Charles Hoskinson in his recent AMA about DJED, which will be a decentralized stablecoin or possibly a group of them on Cardano. Charles actually kind of confirmed that DJED is open source and they basically passed this off to Coty to develop. So not particularly something that Cardano themselves are developing. Coty is amongst the first early stage Cardano developers that you can actually buy tokens for already, and they'll be using the DJED code to develop a USD stablecoin and a few others apparently. But as the code is open source, theoretically anyone could come and develop any type of stablecoin they wanted. After what Charles said, I now believe that DJED is simply a name for the code, and the actual consumer-facing stablecoins will have a more consumer-friendly and normal naming scheme. For example, CUSD for Cardano USD or something like that. The SEC are right now waging a massive war against stablecoins, and thanks to a huge report from them recently, it looks like they want to basically ban all crypto companies from issuing stablecoins. They want stablecoin issuers to have something called FDIC insurance, which is a type of banking insurance in the States, which is fine, but the problem is only banks have that, and the jury is out on if crypto companies would even qualify for FDIC because they most of the time don't have the capital or the required leadership teams and experience to actually qualify for that insurance. What we may see is that these existing crypto companies that issue stablecoins basically have to merge with a bank to form a new unit under the compliance of those existing banks like Goldman's or JP Morgan. I just can't see any other way that they get the capital and specifically the compliance and managerial experience in place otherwise. What that also means is that consumer interest in decentralized stablecoins like UST, which is based on the Terra network, and some DJED stablecoins may actually increase. But don't get me wrong, these are still experimental in their approach, and we don't know what the long-term stability will actually be. So my thoughts on Cardano: I wouldn't be selling here, given that we have so much in the future to come, including DEXs, new tokens, scaling solutions, token bridges, side chains that allow Ethereum dApps to port over, and all of the Africa deals that are obviously coming too, considering Charles was there for the last month. Is Cardano going to moon in the next few weeks? Nope. It's just a long-term project that will be part of a DeFi ecosystem, including other chains. That's my opinion and not financial advice. If you do want to learn more about crypto and how I invest in crypto, I've got 20% off the Crypto Investor course in November. There's over 100 videos already, and new content will be added over time free for existing users, plus the private Discord groups as well. Enter code HODL to get 20% off in November. That link is in the description. I'm James with MoneyZG. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.